Hey, this is Fred from North 40 Fly Shop in Great Falls, Montana, whipping up a little bug I call a Carp Sucka. This color scheme is my favorite for brown stained, coppery stained water. When the water is green, then I usually go with an olive version. But we're going to tie up the kind of the rusty crayfish version today. All right, the platform for this fly is one of our NU 90-degree jigs, and I'm using a number 2. I'm going to lay down a thread base. I'm using some 140 and burnt orange. Let's go back to my rear end tying point, and I'm going to bring my thread back up. Leave myself a little space behind the eyes, and I'm going to tie in a little orange medium bead chain. Get that centered, and then I like to circle it about 10 times. And I'm going to figure 8 it another dozen or so times. That should lock it well into place. Alright, for a tail we're going to use some mini barred marabou. This is orange with brown barring. And I want this tail to be kind of short and stubby. So I've just got a piece there that's going to work out perfectly. A lot of times I'll just grab and pull some fibers right off the edge of the stem, but for this guy, I'm just going to use the whole thing. In there. I'm just going to tie that right back to end up with our tail. I'm going to carry my thread forward to about the point of the hook, and then we're going to bring in some grizzly micro rubber legs here. This is a root beer color, just a little bit offset from the color of the tail. And I'm going to grab 2 long fibers, make sure they're separated. And I'm going to take about an inch and fold it right over my thread, maybe 1.5 inches. Tie that down and then carry that thread forward and back. And then that tail should extend a little bit beyond the back of the fly. All right, now we're going to carry these legs the other half and bring them around to the opposite side. As I'm tying these in, I like to stretch them a little bit, get my full length, and those should about match up perfectly with the other ones. If they're a little off, you can certainly come in and trim them. So now for the body of this, I'm going to make a dubbing loop, and we're going to use some Arizona semi-seal in crawdad color. I'm going to grab a pretty big chunk of this. Go with about 2 inches. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. Get my dubbing loop, and then I'm going to bring that thread up to the eyes. Get that all twisted up. And then I'm going to bring my little thread crook around and go ahead and use my rotary feature to wrap this dubbing. I'm going to carry this up almost to the eyes. I've got just a little bit of space left. I'm going to take and just set my dubbing tool behind it on the vise there, and then I'm going to come in, we're going to add one more layer of legs here right behind the eyes. Just like we did on the rear stage there. I'm going to grab 2 more legs. Fold those over the thread. Tie them right at the side. And then flip over and do the opposite. Then, with that dubbing that we have still left, we're going to continue wrapping on up to the eyes here. Then I'm going to tie that off. If I do it right, I can sometimes get this to work in one stage, but I'm going to make one more quick little loop and just finish off the space around the eyes and in front. Another little pinch there. And I'm just going to bring that right underneath the eyes. And then I'm going to figure eight it right over, around, get a wrap or 2 off the front, and tie it off. After I get a few wraps over my thread, what I like to do is just bend it backwards and then continue wrapping, finish off my head right over the top of that tag of thread, and that really secures that dubbing loop well. This fly does not need to be neat, so if you have a few fibers sticking out, don't worry about it. There we have the Carp Sucka. You can take your dubbing brush, really work that dubbing out. That dubbing creates a nice slow fall. These eyes aren't very heavy. The sink rate is really the key with a lot of these flies. If you're fishing in still water, if you're fishing in a river, you can make the same fly and actually shift it over to some heavier eyes if you got some current to deal with, some brass eyes. Then to finish that off, I'm just going to take a little bit of Zap-A-Gap on my bodkin, just touch the thread wraps on the head there. And that baby is ready to get sucked down by some carp. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, check us out at north40flyshop.com. Come into the fly shop. We got all the materials to tie this fly. Give it a try.